Welcome.
Oh, sorry. That's yours. Sorry.
I mean, no. If you want to do it, go ahead. You've hosted this show before, and maybe you will tonight too.
Sorry, I was just being belligerent. Sorry about that.
You can smash us to black too if you want. I'll just
sweet.
Welcome guests.
Thank you.
Now, most of you people out there watching have no idea who these two people are. So I'm sorry to bring on guests that you've never heard of.
Right.
But no, I mean, first of all, welcome. Tell these people who you are if by any chance there's like somebody who forgot who you were or something like that. Who
Taylor.
are you? What do you do?
Me?
Yeah, start.
Well, I am the Dusty Wheel.
I'm
what the metaphysics are built off of. Really. The creator, if you will. I have no idea if this works in the canon. But no, my name's Taylor. I run everything that hopefully you don't see. So.
Taylor's responsible for all the mistakes I make. That's what I like to say. There we go. I am the Innkeeper. So I host the Dusty Wheel, a live call and talk show all about the Wheel of Time.
And you're also the host of the official Amazon After Show. Don't throw that out.
Sure, that's true. Yeah,
I can vouch for the fact that you are a Taviran. You run into more random stars from the show walking around the streets of London than anybody I've ever met.
Yeah,
so,
that did happen.
Like,
but Taylor was with me,
and we don't need to talk about me meeting.
Hey, Taylor.
No, we don't. It's fine.
Taylor, do you mind telling the story of introducing yourself to? Which one was it? Was it Yosha or was it?
It was Yosha.
Marcus? It was Yosha. Because Marcus actually saw us and then he preemptively said hello because he knew we were going to be awkward about it.
Was it boys? Was it? What did he use?
Yeah, I think he said boys, and then he posted it on his Was it?
He did. He posted it. He posted it on like Instagram or something.
That was crazy. And then no, it was Yosha that I met him. We were walking the street, and it was like me and my dad,
and Sarah,
I think. Yeah. And we're walking down the street.
Daniel was there too, but he had crossed the road already.
They were walking ahead of us the whole time. Okay?
I would like to point out that they left me behind at the hotel. I just want to make sure this is clear. I was left behind.
Wow.
Excluded.
Yeah.
But anyways, continue your story. I'm sorry.
No, we're just walking, and Daniel runs across the street to get past the traffic, and we get stopped, and we're just standing there waiting. And then Sarah just calls out, and Rand is like standing right there, like coming back with like
And Rand.
groceries.
Rand.
Like, sorry, Yosha, my bad. But yeah, he's just standing like right there. He's super tall, by the way.
Yep.
And I remember I just walked. Sorry, I did not walk at all. She was like, Yosha, hey, and he caught a glimpse of Sarah and walked over, and he walks over to us, and she's like, this is Matt and Taylor, and I go and I'm like, hi. And then he
That's
just
pretty great.
takes his hand off and shakes my dad's hand, and I was like, yeah, it's Taylor. And it was bad.
It was awesome.
Well, you forgot your own name. Like Beth, so Beth just asked, is he Nae'Blis tall? Yosha is a little shorter than me. Marcus is my height. Marcus is a freaking giant. Marcus is not only my height, but like he's thick and muscular, unlike me. Marcus looks like Taylor would if he were 6'5".
By the way, he didn't say boys, he said lads.
Lads?
Yeah. How did I mess up with the boys?
Well,
Yeah. Lads.
well,
there we go.
First of all, thank you guys for coming. This is the Darkfriend Social.
Thank you.
We have a lot of fun stuff to talk about today. We're gonna debut some things you two have been working on, and we get to talk about them. We've talked about these things a little bit on other shows.
True.
But I'm excited to talk about them again because I think they're really cool. And unlike you, I'm adventurous. I'm going to show all of your clips in order. And you know what? We'll ask for forgiveness and not permission.
I got it. I like how you're like, unlike you like we just put like 10 minutes of conversations between each clip. That's what
well, okay. I'm gonna split them up. I mean,
okay,
we'll do that, but like I'm gonna show them. So
okay.
I'm excited for that. We'll even have some commercials to break up the
nice.
Break them up. So, but before we do that, I want to talk specifically because it's we talked about this last week, but it just keeps coming up. You know what we're like 20 days away from?
Jordan Con.
Heck yeah, it is.
That's 20 days away?
Yeah.
It's actually less than that. Like,
wow.
Yeah, right?
That's crazy. I'm very excited. Last year was insane. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but
no, like it was so fun. And I so in my last video, I kind of did a whole section on JordanCon and asked people to comment if they're coming, and it seems like a lot of people are really excited because, like, from my understanding, JordanCon is like maxed out, sold out right now. Like, I don't think they can fit another person in the building, which is going to be a lot of fun because last year there were what, like 400, 500 people there, if that.
I think something like that.
So talk like more than double that. And then that many people. I want to show. I showed this clip last time I did a show, which I don't even remember when that was. But just to give everybody a little hype, like this was a clip from JordanCon.
So I did see a Trolloc. No, maybe it was Loyal walk by. Where is Nae'Blis? Nae'Blis! Let me bring Nae'Blis onto the show. Everyone wanted to see Nae'Blis. Hey, can you go stand up over here? Just right here.
There are 2 chairs, one for each cheek.
Can you stand up? People want to see. Like this was the whole thing yesterday.
Where's Jen?
Where's Jen? Yeah.
Is she here?
Jen, come on over. So everyone wanted to get a feel. Everyone talks about how tall Nae'Blis is. As you can see, off camera tall. That's how tall he is. I'm standing up right now. That's how tall he is. This is Jen Isgro right here. There you go, everybody. That's Jen. This is what this is. Oh, and I'll stand up too. Here we go.
Just rubbing it in.
This is the comparison, right? There we go. There we go. Welcome. There we go.
Now, it was fun.
Was that Saturday? Because my voice was shot.
Well, that's like a minute before Brandon Sanderson came over and crashed it.
Really?
So yeah, that is the Saturday. But like what people can't see is all the other people on the other side of us that were watching. Like
that didn't want to be on the camera.
Right. Like didn't want to be on the camera. So it's a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to I'm assuming the Dusty Wheel will go live at
I want to say that we're gonna probably do like a morning show.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like so you figure on Friday, I think what opening ceremonies is at like 1 or something.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe we do like an 11 a.m., 11:30 a.m. morning show from the lobby. And then Saturday we'll probably do a similar kind of thing. I can't vouch that we'll be up before the first panel on Saturday, but maybe between the two panels or
Yeah.
something like that. I don't know, like 11:30, 11:15, 11:30, same time, kind of Saturday. Just getting excited for the con. But yeah, I think Fridays will be a lot of fun. Everyone will just be really excited, and they're waiting. We should have a really amazingly huge group of people in the lobby area on Friday.
Mhm.
I would imagine.
I mean, it was
Are-
crazy there last time. Like,
yeah.
like
Absolutely.
the huge ring, and I didn't think Saturday at that point was that our biggest. I thought
No, Friday
day before.
the day before was yeah, it was the first one we did was larger. Just again, I
Enormous.
think Saturday it was during panels, like and like I said, there just weren't as many people there. So yeah, should be
Mhm.
Friday would probably be like really awesome.
Are you guys coming in on Thursday?
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, we'll be there. Thursday is I would imagine we will have the largest couch con. Like, no, it will be the largest gathering of people at CouchCon on Thursday ever. I would imagine. So,
I'm planning on getting there Thursday, and I think like I would love to have like the largest group of people to go out to eat.
this is going to be like, I mean, where are we going to go eat with that many people?
I don't know. We'll see as many as can fit us. We went to a really cool Korean barbecue place last. I don't think you guys came with us, but Seth from Watt Spoilers and Vance and Bane and Chiat, I think, and trying to think of. I will always remember that introduction at Jordan Con on Thursday night. She comes up, she goes, "Hi, I'm Bane and Chiat." I just like nobody introduces themselves with two names, but I love it. I'm looking forward to meeting a lot of people that I haven't gotten to meet face to face before, so that'll be a lot of fun. Jordan Con is going to be a blast, and then right after we get back from Jordan Con, we're going to release like a whole ton of information on WattCon and some of the some of the programming and all the stuff that's planned for that. So that's going to come out after that. We're kind of in con season now, which is fun. So
by the way, Darren wants to know what CouchCon is. So I'll give you. So CouchCon basically is the convention within the convention at JordanCon. So you imagine every room full. There's still going to be people that whatever don't want to see a certain panel, couldn't fit into the panel they wanted to, but they want to hang out for the hour and a half. And you can go check out the gaming room. You can go check out the art room. There's a lot of things you could be doing, but a lot of people just end up back in the lobby where there's lots of couches and such. So CouchCon is this enduring, basically convention that just goes on where people just stay on the couches, or some people leave, some people come back, and all day long you can just kind of return to the couches to chat. This did kind of begin because of our spouses who showed up and didn't know anything about the books. And so they would just kind of sit on the couches and chat with each other, and commiserate because their nerd spouses or whatever were in the panels. And eventually we would come back and hang out with them there. And so, yeah, people just started really just hanging out in the lobby, playing games, chatting about things during panels, between panels. And then it became this Thursday night phenomena, which was everyone started getting there earlier than Friday because the con starts on Friday. And so Thursday night would be like the last night before the convention, before everyone's really tired because everyone's staying up late. And so, yeah, you're there the first night and everyone wants to kind of chat and just talk about things. So yeah, Thursday night turns into this really long 3 o'clock in the morning. People are still up chatting in the lobby because the convention doesn't begin until Friday afternoon. So yeah, CouchCon is a thing that typically begins now. I think it starts even on Wednesdays for some because some people started getting there even earlier. So you probably have it enduring on a Wednesday all the way through Monday is what happens. But yeah, Thursday night is to me probably my favorite night of the convention.
I'm excited. It's the first time I ever met you in person was Thursday night last year. So
I know, right?
And then we ended up, I think the last time I saw you guys, well, I take that back. It wasn't the last time, but like we all went to get a steak dinner. I don't remember what the name of that place was, but
and I tried lobster, right?
That's right. You did. I forgot. You were
For the
like
first time.
You were afraid of seafood and you tried a lobster.
Yeah, and I still hold that title,
Exactly.
Wait a minute. What am I talking about? I just said that's the last time I saw you guys. I was in freaking London with you.
That's true.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, there's a London thing.
There was that. Well, okay. So by the way, if you're not coming to JordanCon, make sure you tune in to all of the content. I know Dusty will go live. We're going to record an episode of Tarvalon After Dark that'll be live. I'm going to be vlogging my time there, which is kind of an interesting way of it's sort of what I did when I was in London.
Yeah.
I'm going to do a better job of it this time, I think.
Vance did it. Vance did that last year at JordanCon. I really loved that approach. I may have to do something like that. Just have ridiculously.
I find it fun, and I'm actually driving down instead of flying this year. It's not that much different of a It's definitely shorter to fly, but if you add in all the time that you have to go to the airport and stuff, it's not that much worse.
Yeah.
And the Uber from the airport to the hotel, it's on the other side of the city. So it's all right, I'm just going to drive it. And that way I've got my car there. So when we go to across the street to the restaurant,
that's nice.
I've got my car. So
thanks for taking the.
By the way, it's not as hot. It won't be as hot as it was in the summer.
That's good. That's also good.
Oh my gosh, yeah, it's actually nice out in the evenings outside.
But Taylor, you've got shotgun.
I mean, of course,
we're gonna tow your dad behind. Anyways, so yeah, I'm gonna be there on Thursday night. I'm actually leaving on Monday. I just decided I kind of like making sure Sunday's kind of a lazy. Don't have to travel day. So, but
that's good of you. We're leaving on we're leaving Sunday evening, so we should be there most of the day. I think we're leaving Sunday evening right around 3 or 4, or I guess afternoon. But yeah, we'll be there.
Boring. Boring.
We gotta go with the airline, times. We're actually going back to, well, I won't share that piece of news in case we're continuing our vacation a little bit. So.
Well, let's go ahead and dive into what I want to get to today. We're going to go through the Dusty Wheel Cut, all of the pieces that have been released so far, plus 2 never before seen Dusty Wheel Cut
2.
Yeah, I gave him the next 2.
You gave him 2?
Yeah,
2 of them.
Wait, did you pre-watch these?
I have not watched them at all.
I did not watch them, Taylor. So I
pre-watched them.
I hope you made the cuts right. Yeah,
these have never been seen by anybody ever. Nobody has ever seen these. Not
Taylor
even
was supposed to make the cuts, so if you guys don't like it, Taylor's fault.
Oh goodness, I think I did a good job.
Well,
yeah, we'll see.
We'll start with the first 3 that have already been released. So first of all, these clips, you definitely want to watch them again, and you definitely want to go to the Dusty Wheel YouTube channel and watch these again in order. But I'm going to play a clip. We'll talk about why you made the decisions you did, and then we'll move on to the next one. Sound good?
Okay. Yep.
All right, here we go.
That's great.
The world is broken. Many, many years ago, men who were born with great power believed they could cage darkness itself. The arrogance. When they failed, the seas boiled, mountains were swallowed up, cities burned, and the women of the Aes Sedai were left to pick up the pieces. These women remembered one thing above all else: the man who brought the breaking of the world. And him they named Dragon. Now this man has been born again. We don't know where or to whom, if he was reborn as a girl or a boy. The only thing we know for certain is that this child is coming of age now, and we must find them before the dark does.
Okay, I love that. First of all, love that. So,
I still love that one.
Walk me through the thinking behind this. And first of all, let's take a step back and say, what's the thinking behind making this edit anyway? Because I know where your heart's coming from. This is not hey, the show sucks and I want to make it better. This is a different interpretation, correct? I mean, what's you put it in your own words.
Yeah, I think for me, it's kind of like Winter Dragon. When we did Winter Dragon Cut, it wasn't to make fun of it. It wasn't to, it wasn't like, how do we make this, into a parody of what they've done. It was, how do we take what they've had and basically tell the story a little bit differently with
Mhm.
the material they already have there. So we were asking ourselves, okay, what if in fact we instead wanted the focus to be on the villain up front, right? Like the
Right.
idea of a breaking and a dragon being reborn, but actually bring Alvaro Morte into play immediately. And so we thought that the idea of actually using the animated, short, if you will, that they'd done with Moraine speaking, that you kind of really kind of got into the idea of like what's bringing about the story. Oh, it's the breaking, and you're focused on, oh, it's like this terrible thing that happened, all this destruction, and then this person's been born again, and then seeing Alvaro Morte as potentially a Dragon Reborn and seeing his power, we thought was just like an overwhelmingly like different way to tell the story that they gave us, which was to start it focused on the Dragon Reborn and make the journey a subset of that intro. I don't know, Taylor, that's how I would explain it. Would you explain it any differently or add to that?
I think because we're not trying to turn it into a different story.
Mhm.
And whether or not we move pieces or we take out some point of view scenes or something, the character arcs and the narrative is still the same. And across all 8 episodes, it's still carrying the same weight and feeling and everything across it. And we really liked actually their story. And kind of the different takes they had on it. And yeah, it's just kind of like us having a try at it. Because I think a big thing with Winter Dragon, everyone was expecting there to be Rick Astley and like they were expecting it to be like funny joking about it. But then when they saw it, they were like, oh, this is just Winter Dragon. Like it just kind of recut and revisualized, and that is in essence the exact same thing.
Well, let me bring up like a sample example of that. Taylor, in the cut for Winter Dragon, there's a subtle moment where he has Billy Zane as a Shamael responding to Luz Theron, Max Ryan as Luz Theron. And in the cut, they're talking one to one, like one person says something, the other person replies, the other person says something. And instead, Taylor took it and he had Luz Theron speak over Billy Zane and walk away from him. And it's just like this really subtle nuance to the scene, which portrayed his kind of like his brain, his mind being somewhere else, instead of that he wasn't actually in this real conversation and he didn't want to hear what he had to say, so he spoke over him. Again, it's those kind of subtle differences to tell the story and just like tweaking how the story is told to maybe bring out some things that maybe we noticed we didn't feel were brought out as much, if that makes sense. So in the same way, like when we both saw the cold open for episode 4, we immediately had this reaction. And so the next cut, a lot of why we did the first piece was because of the second cut that you're going to show. Like
you're
the second
getting
cut,
ahead of it, Matt.
The second cut is why we did the first cut. That's what I'm saying, is that first cut like purposely set up what we were going to do for our cold open.
Well, okay, so 2 things. First of all, thank you, Beth. I'm definitely wearing the wig now. You get the $10 wig. But so appreciate that. Thank you. What I love about the opening scene there, the way you guys cut that, was if you had asked me, and actually I think I was on video saying this, if you go back a year, hold on, I'm about to sneeze.
Bless you. Bless you. Bless you.
Thank you. So if you go back like a year, I was talking about like, how do I think they should open the show? And I didn't necessarily like, I actually made the argument for the prologue to be the opening of the show, primarily for the reasons that you showed that clip, as I wanted to be able to show, here's where we were, here's what happened, and here's where we're at now at the beginning of the story, right? And I wanted to see time pass. I wanted people to understand that something really dangerous happened. And I feel like what you guys accomplished with kind of recutting the voiceover, instead of Maureen putting on suspenders, we got that, right? I feel like it sets that tone, because then it flows right into this next clip. So let me go ahead and play the next clip. We've kind of talked about it a little bit, but we'll go right into this and then talk about this.
The only thing we know for certain is that this child is coming of age now, and we must find them before the dark does.
He destroyed the gates! His army's everywhere! My king! We need to get you away from him!
You really believe it, don't you?
Be done with it, Slogain.
I sent word to the White Tower. The Aes Sedai will come for you.
Those women. They should be following me, not fighting me. But they're afraid. Afraid the dragon will break the world again. Throw us back thousands of years, just like the last one did. They forget the dragon is just as likely to save the world as break it.
You don't need to convince this man of anything. Kill him.
You've got mad already.
He'll betray you. Just like your parents.
Just like your sister. None of them understand who you are. What you're going to be. There's a place for anyone at my side. Even my enemies.
Oh gosh, I love that. First of all, what a really good cold open that was in general.
Yeah, the cold open.
First
Great.
of all, to start with that.
Yeah.
It's one of the things. I think it's one of the reasons why people love episode 4. Like episode 4 is one of the favorites out there, and
Mhm.
it's hard to say that the cold open wasn't part of that for sure.
Absolutely. So you guys have kind of already hit on this, but I feel like moving that episode 4 cold open to being the cold open essentially for episode 1, coming right off of this whole Dragon Reborn broke the world, like it definitely sets the tone, and it sets Logain up as a really interesting character, because am I supposed to root for him, against him, or for him?
Right? Is he a good or a bad guy? They did that really well with the
Mhm.
cold open. The problem I have is that they put it in episode 4, so you've already been asking all sorts of questions, and those questions preclude any like real notion of who this person is. Right? Like you've had like questions about the Dragon Reborn, and then it's like, who's this guy? And by the time you find out who he is, that same episode he's gentled.
Mhm.
So it's like this almost anticlimactic way of using that cold open, because it doesn't build. Like by the time they capture him in the end of episode 3, you're like, oh wow, they have that. So that guy is the Dragon Reborn. Like now I'm so confused. Like, so he was, but then he wasn't. Now he is. He's dangerous. I've seen him. I've built up this idea about him. They're talking about him. And he's a villain that I should be kind of concerned about. We just didn't feel like the number of like a reference to him was powerful in episode 1 without like this just makes everything we thought this made everything they were trying to accomplish in episode 1 by the references to the war and everything. It just made it so much more impactful having a concept of him. And they already kind of started off the show with the same Moraine words. They just didn't use, they used Moraine getting dressed, right? But we didn't change Moraine's words at all. We just used a different kind of backing graphic for it. Then you have the cold open with Leandrin, which we found to be less than, like, it didn't instruct you at all about who this was. In fact, you didn't even see the use of the one power in any way that you kind of connect it. So Taylor made some really interesting cuts. I want to leave that to him to talk about, but he convinced me on how to cut up this cold open, because there's a lot of cuts. There's a lot of things that have been done to it. And so maybe Taylor, maybe speak to, because everyone always says this in the comments. They're like, why'd you take the spear out? You could have done this, but leave the spears. Like that was one of the comments that are made often.
Here's the whole goal with a cold open, right? Your entire goal is to grab an audience. And with some sort of ideal or thought or belief, you want to as quickly and as simply as possible grab them, because you want them to be interested in what the rest of the world has to offer, and why even building upon characters matters, and why we should stick around, and why you should learn who Rand and Egwene and Nynaeve and Baron and Matt, and why these people matter to the story. And you have to, because you have to have some sort of stake within the character. Whether or not he's the good guy or bad guy, you need to understand what that stake is, like what their stake is within the world. And so there's a couple main things that we do in this cut, and the reason why it fits so well in episode 1, because specifically we take the spears out. Okay, the spears. Sorry, I just saw your comment.
I saw it
too. What was I saying? The reason why we took the spears out was specifically because you're trying to build up suspense in a 2.5-3 minute long clip, right? And you're showing 2 to 3 huge things. First of all, for the show specifically, you're showing pretty much the main villain that we know of right now. Like the dragon's gonna break the world, and we gotta like find him, kind of a thing. Like he did this once before, right? So you're immediately showing that there's like this end all be all character. Then we're showing channeling, which is like one of the biggest things in the story. And then after that, you're showing corruption. And those are the 3 main things that I think should have been placed within that first episode, because of the fact that you want the audience to go, is he bad?
Yeah.
Right? Because whether or not you have decided, or you're like, well, obviously he's the bad guy, you're right. They're contradicting morals, because you see time and time again that yes, he killed that person, but you kind of forget about all the random mindless people that he's killed, because it's in this moment that you're connecting with the king.
Yeah.
And they have this actual conversation. If the war slows down for a moment and they talk, and they have this back and forth, and then throughout this we start seeing I don't know what they're called, but the taint puppet things that
taint puppets is
I know.
I think that's the best word.
That's the official name, actually. The official name, taint puppet.
Taint puppet. Well, I think it works. But no, all I'm trying to say is, like, you see this multiple times, a whisper and then an actual physical pull to do the wrong thing, and he still chooses to do the right thing. And the king believes him. And that is a visual and audible representation of what the audience is having done to them. So it's going, is this the dragon? Like, is he actually real? It seems as though he knows he could break the world. So that's interesting. So, but if he's aware of that, does that mean like he's not going to do it? And that, so it's going to be, right? You're trying to figure out what these characters are doing within the world. And he seems like he understands a little bit more about this whole dragon responsibility than some other people. And so, right, that's immediately what we set up, is right at the beginning, the audience has a question. And then we cut directly in to Rand.
Well,
and we start meeting the team, and that's we
Don't
go
give
through
away,
the rest
Taylor.
of this.
Don't give it away.
We already released that.
Well, but not everybody's seen it. Now, I have a question that's a little off topic, but it's as important.
Okay.
Is this true, Taylor?
No, that one's not true.
Okay. I was about to lose my stuff here if you were actually reading the books.
No, that one is not true.
Because I thought for a minute, when we were in London, I've told this story before, I thought you were on the verge of picking up the books because you were like, I was spoiling all of them for you. And you were like, wait, that happens? Oh my gosh, this is so awesome. I got to read these books. And then you never read them.
Yeah, I never read that one.
I'm that one.
That's what he's saying. So he told us in the last one that he took Daniel's advice, which was just to watch the summary of The Eye of the World. The question is, he's watched Daniel's summary of it. Is he reading anything further? That's the real question. But so yeah, Taylor, are you reading?
Wait, is this true?
That is a question.
That is a question. See, he's not going to tell us. Okay, so
question, I don't know.
I want to put this out there, which is that with this cut, Taylor took out the channeling because he didn't want everyone to know. He doesn't want the viewer to know what this person is capable of until the moment of stopping the dagger. Like, you see the moment stopping the dagger. That's when Taylor was like, that's the first moment people should know just how powerful he is, because it takes away from the viewing experience when you're like, oh, he can stop spears. Basically, he can stop anything. So nothing is tense after that moment. And so by taking that piece out, and also by basically having him be just so calm and not kind of have this, like, he yells at him the first time and then he stands up and then he talks to him again, and not mentioning the dragon until the moment where Alvaro Morte says, they're so afraid that the dragon's going to break the world. That's the first time you hear dragon again, and it directly ties back into the previous comment of breaking the world and the dragon, and you immediately are in that moment again. You're like, oh my gosh. And you're asking yourself these questions. They're not just given to you. And that's one thing we wanted to do with our cut, was leave out some of the things that felt like they were just given to the viewer. So at least it lets you kind of ask the question at least for a minute or two, and then you connect things. And there's like that kind of moment of like, kind of a little bit of confusion of like, who is this? Oh, this is the person, versus just kind of like when the king says, like, you really believe that you're the dragon or whatever. He says something, he brings it up to the dragon, and then Alvaro Morte talks about it. Again, it's some of these moments, like we didn't show the hand behind his back to grab the dagger, because again, we wanted it to be such a suspenseful moment of when the dagger comes out in just like a millisecond, and stopping the dagger is this kind of like, oh my gosh moment of like, who is this guy and how powerful is he?
And here's in defense of why they had the spear shot in there, right? You have to remember, in their timeline, that's in episode 4, right? And so by that time, we've seen Moraine like chuck a building at 8 million Trollocs. Like we've progressed, and so them showing any other magic just feels general at that point. Not saying that like you couldn't also still build the suspense and that our cut still couldn't have worked, but you have seen it, and so there's not that kind of that waiting. You know, that's what they did with Leandrin at the beginning, because you don't ever see her channel.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I feel like you have the appropriate amount of channeling in that cut. So Taylor, I did want to make sure that you did vote in the poll.
Oh, there's a poll.
Yeah. I just wanted to make sure you did vote, because we're trying to get an accurate poll here. And I feel like your input is needed for this. So anyways, while we're doing that, we're going to have to show these other clips here, but first I think it's time for a quick commercial. just a word from our sponsor here real quick before we head into the next clip. Here we go.
Are you tired of ordinary Trolloc meals? Do you put dead humans in a cook pot, wait till they're warm, and call it cooking? Want to change things up? Then come to California People Kitchen, where we think outside the cook pot. Try one of our customer favorites, like the Andorran Special, a pizza topped with little chunks of Andorrans. For younger Trollocs, the kids' fingers are a menu favorite. We only serve freshly severed fingers from farm-raised kids. There's something for everyone. California People Kitchen. You may be a monster, but you don't have to eat like one.
That is hands down. That is hands down the best one ever. I've heard a lot of them. That is the best one. That is my favorite.
I like
it. Just works. It works so well. Like that is so creative. Like your other, yeah, that's my favorite.
California People Kitchen.
You may be a monster, but you don't have to eat like one. It's so good. Oh wow.
Okay. Well,
that's good stuff.
I think it's time for another clip. So let me go ahead and play Dusty Wheel Cut clip 3. Here we go.
Let's do it.
I remember when this road was just a little deer path winding down the mountain.
How'd you get the wool to town?
Carried it.
And the brandy?
That stayed home. Your mother could drink.
More wolves now.
Something's been pushing them down from the mountain. When you were just tiny, we'd let you out in these woods alone to look for berries. And you'd always save a basket of them in the barn to take to Egwene.
Sounds like I used to be a real sap.
No sweet sticks for you.
Matt Cawthon, my best and poorest customer.
Seems like I'm your only customer.
So, what do you have for me this year? Oh dear. Not real gold, sadly.
Yes, it is. It's worth 3 marks at least.
Possibly. But will I be able to sell it here in town? I'll give you 1 mark.
2.
Half a mark. That'll get you 3 lanterns and you'll be lucky to have them.
You're a right bastard, Paddington.
Pleasure as always.
Cheers, boys. Made it through another year of this shite. All right. Out with it. Out with what? Nothing. Bollocks. Something happened with the Egwene.
What happened?
Okay, so we have not talked about this one yet.
We haven't. Yeah.
Now we're going to run out of time, so we have to speed our conversation up a little bit.
Yeah.
But
Taylor, be more concise, Taylor.
Okay, I can try.
Walk me through a little bit of the thinking, because there's one piece there that I notice that's a big change, and that's we see Matt sell the bracelet, but we don't see how he got it.
Yep.
So walk me through some of that thinking.
I'll tell that reasoning for that piece, and then I'll let Taylor talk about the cut itself.
Oh, by the way, real quick, the consensus is, Taylor, that you can read. So I did want to let you know. Everybody thinks
that's what that said.
So, anyways, continue.
So we liked the idea again of leaving as many of the questions as we can to the audience to determine the answer of. So what I mean by that is, instead of hand feeding them an assumption about Matt, which you can do, right, if you really want to settle it in, we liked the idea of how Jordan would allow us to argue about the motivations of characters instead of like painting the motivation really clearly always. So with Matt, the way they have it in the show, it very much paints an exact picture of what you're supposed to believe happened. With this, you don't really know. Did he take it from his mother? Did he take it from a friend? Did he find it on the ground? Where did he get this? You can come up with 7 theories about where Matt came up with this. You do know that he feels some kind of, you get that kind of feeling like he's not sure about selling this thing. And it possibly could be because he stole it, but it could be that, he wasn't supposed to sell it. It could be, there are other possibilities other than directly like he stole it from this woman that you've seen and known. So we liked leaving that up to the viewer to determine. And Taylor will speak to why we did the cut this way. And it just actually, that piece of the story just works well in how we wanted to tell it too. So that, to me, those things work together.
So a big reason why we decided to cut it like this instead of, because I think in the normal cut, it goes directly to the women's circle, like immediately, was because a big part, I think, of the women's circle is specifically the connection between Egwene and Nynaeve. And the words that she says are very poignant and important, and they lead to further conflicts and conversations through the remaining 7 episodes. And so when you just came off of the Moraine getting dressed and big, like find the person kind of talk, and then you come into Leandrin's thing, and it's like really, there's a lot of like emotion, and it's really big. And then you're introduced to like these men that can channel and everything. And then we come into the women's circle. I think that's how it goes, right? That's how it goes in. It's a lot of information that I think convoluted itself and a lot of the messages they were saying. And so using these clips in this way, we pulled in the Padden Fane coming into town. We actually pulled in the scene with Perrin and his wife. And then we made I think I added like a couple other scenes or something of the town. And so altogether, it makes this very big, like, okay, we've met this animation with Moraine's voice, a voice that we're going to see and hear soon at the beginning. That's setting up the whole story. And then we have a cold open that sets up the main conflict for the TV show and what you need to have in the back of your mind. And it speaks to the first animation. Well, now we come here and it's like, okay, we're going to welcome you to the world that all of these 2 other things that you just heard and were told about take place in. And so you come in, you meet Rand and his father, and they have this conversation, and he's talking to him about Egwene and this connection, right? So you automatically build that there is a connection already between these 2 characters. And then we skip forward. Meet Padden Fane, this side character that becomes really big later on. And so we introduce him earlier because he makes the village feel a lot more full, like people are joining for some reason. And so we have Padden Fane. He talks to Matt. So then you meet Matt and you start having these ideas. Okay, well, did he steal that watch? Did he did he find it somewhere? Did someone give it to whatever? Like, did he pawn it off someone? you decide what that is, and you kind of meet him and his relationship with the people that he barters with, and other people around that aren't just his best friends. And then we switch over to then the boys drinking, and it's like, okay, well, is there a lot to do here, or do these friends just hang out and drink together, right? And so it's a very it makes it very communal altogether. And right then, right at the beginning, his father kind of brings up this Egwene thing, knowing that obviously they still have a connection, they're still dating and everything. But once he's with his friends, he's immediately called out because Matt knows him. And so it shows that Matt has a very strong connection to Rand specifically. And so then Perrin's kind of calling it out. But what's funny is what's cool is you hit on Perrin having his own relationship issues with his wife. And so a lot of the same themes are being stacked on top of each other with relationships and people in the town and the things we've learned from the cold open and everything. And that just all builds up to then what is, I think, one of the more important parts, the women's circle, where Egwene's going to push into her womanhood of so many different like things. I don't know.
So and before you jump in there, Nae'Blis, just what I really like is that we tried to frame the community first with the footage that they had, and then go to the things that are interesting about the community versus jump into this ceremony and then jump to the community. So we thought the framing of the community with the footage that they gave us, right? And someone had mentioned that like it's, you have a very kind of male view here. There's lots of men and men and men, but that's because all the women are at the women's ceremony. Like the women are at the women's ceremony doing an important women's circle business. And so you see these boys kind of sitting around getting together for some kind of communal excitement party, if you will, that everyone's preparing for. So we liked framing the community and then having it build up to helping frame why this women's circle moment was so much.
Well, I like it. And one thing you guys mentioned already that I love is that we have not seen Moraine yet, which I love that we've heard her voice but not seen her. I think it'll make her entrance later all that more powerful. Thank you, Jessica. I appreciate it. And so does this beautiful mullet wig.
It's so good. Yeah, but you're right. So I think getting to those next two clips, I think will take us, and this one hasn't been seen yet, but I think everyone has seen this clip.
Well, let's go ahead and we'll play it.
Yeah,
here we go. First time Matt or I has ever seen this. So here we go.
Hey, Nae'Blis, this is the second one. We should do the other one first.
This braid will remind you that you are a part of us, and we are part of you. To be a woman is to be always alone, and never alone. So, when the dark surrounds you, and you see no light, feel this braid, and know that we all stood before you. We all stand with you.
As wisdom of the two rivers, it's my honor to welcome you to the Women's Circle.
Be strong, Egwene.
Trust the river.
Hongers were worried we might be without apple brandy this bell time.
Wouldn't want them to remember a minute of it.
Right, gentlemen and lady, I want to thank you all very much for bearing with me tonight. Can't imagine it's been easy to part with all your money, but...
You'll get them next time, Matt.
Next time? How about right now, eh? Anyone?
You don't have anything left to bet.
Come on, sit down.
How are you? How are the girls?
You can spot me. One game. 3 of us. Old time's sake,
Come on, we're talking.
About what? You're married, your life's over, and Rand's pining over at Gawain, cold in the mountains, only the sheep to keep him warm.
Did you hear already?
Hear what?
A few folks went down to Taran Ferry with the wall last week. Town was full of soldiers and mercenaries headed south.
Why?
They said there's a war in Gaelden.
In Gaelden? Who cares? It was Callie Copland told you that, wasn't it?
So?
She'd piss in your mouth and tell you it was raining.
So, come on.
Let's play. No?
No.
No? Okay, fine.
All right. I love it. Real quick before we get into it, Joshua, thank you. I think Nae'Blis needs a mustache wigs a la Tom to make it more immersive. I mean, yeah, if I got I'll figure it. Do they make mustache wigs? Anyways, you got this wig. That's what you paid for. So thank you very much. So, okay. I love that clip. I like the transition there. Walk me through the thinking here in 5 minutes or less.
Taylor, be more concise. Okay. So I'm going to throw in my 1 minute explanation, and then Taylor can throw in his 3.5 minute explanation.
25 minutes more time. Okay.
Yeah. So Egwene, right? Like this concept of who is Egwene. Immediately, you're like, I bet that is Egwene as you come into that scene. And there's some conflict here, and here they are. There's everyone from the village, all the women from the village here to have this moment, and then like we tried to really make the water feel a little bit more dangerous, so we cut out a bunch of kind of moments where she comes up from it. So there's like a really persistent like danger element as once she goes into the water, she gets carried by it. And then we really tried to kind of bring out this idea of like the celebration happens right after what she's done, right? You're tying those two things together instead of like in the show where there's that kind of distance between. And then like Rand comes in and his father come into town after that. We really liked this idea of like, no, take him right from this moment to what's going to be a celebration for Egwene. So Taylor, your turn.
The biggest parts of this that I think are important to look at, besides the women's circle and how that transfers over into the bar scene, and that it'll be in the next cut specifically, is the fact that you hear Perrin talking about a war going on in a city, and it's already been planted in your head that it's already happened, that it currently is happening, and the events that have taken place at that war. And so it's just another thing to connect source material that you still remember because you've only watched the 10 minutes or 5-6 minutes of this show so far. And so it's a very I think it's really imperative to have that conversation, and then what comes after it in the next one, because of how many times these people are like, okay, what about the war and it just talks about a lot of important things there. I think specifically then, besides that, again, what are the boys doing? They're drinking together. And so it's like, it's very much, they have a normal life. They're not really getting up to too much right now, but they're all kind of in their feelings. So this one doesn't have a lot to talk about. It's really going to be the next couple.
The connection between Perrin and the war comment to me is the most powerful. Having that comment Perrin makes actually like signals you of like, oh my gosh, I know what war they're talking about.
Right.
It feels like the audience is supposed to know.
You actually connect those, and it's just a really meaningful moment.
Well, let's go ahead and play the next clip so we can talk about it. Here we go.
Okay.
is and a coin for every empty hand.
No, you drink with us tonight. Marine and drink for your daughter! Cheers, everybody! Cheers!
How did the ceremony go today?
Don't know, actually. We haven't talked yet.
I'm sure she's just busy.
Yeah. I'm sure.
Name yourself, stranger.
Landmon Dragon. This is Moraine.
My lady, can I help you?
We'll need stables for our horses and a room for the night. 2 beds and fresh linen, that's all we need.
Of course, Moraine Sedai.
If you'll come this way.
She looks like a normal person. I don't know.
Quiet. Who knows what she can hear? Maybe she's headed to the war in the south. In the stories, they say, one Aes Sedai can turn the battle on her own.
I don't care where she's going to, but we'll all be happier and safer when she's there. Where's Layla? Probably at the forge. Iron's hard to work alone.
Give Egwene my best.
Okay. So definitely love the intro of Moraine there.
Yeah, it's powerful.
Walk me through the thinking here, Taylor, because I know you said that a lot of the previous scene is explained here. So let's hear it.
There's like 4 or 5 major things to look at here.
Mhm.
The first most important character that we saw in the show on our cut version is Logain. And how we see him is screaming and running and this talking about this man, this thing that we need to get away from. And the first shot is a heavy focus rack pull of focus pull rack pull, whatever, of Logain, Alvaro Morte, walking into focus. And we meet our main conflict for half the season, Mike, right? That's the big guy. Then the first time we meet Moraine is the same exact shot. And so we introduce we use the shot of the mirror draw instead. And what the actual shot is just a nighttime shot of the town. But we already know that the hours are passing and we don't need to just see a nighttime shot of the town. And so instead, to show the rain on the outside, we introduce this character on a horse in a cloak walking up to the inn. And it starts building that suspense and it makes it eerie. Then you meet Perrin and Rand. Rand still doesn't talk to Egwene yet, and he's still feeling off about that. And Perrin, in a similar situation, since we know a couple cuts back, Perrin is going through some similar relationship things, and he's like, well, I bet she's just busy or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
We see Egwene walking around, and then bam, the boots walk in. This lone character that we don't know, and everything stops, and we all turn. And in that moment, we become Rand and Egwene and Nynaeve and Perrin and Matt. We all turn because we go, who is this person?
Mm-hmm.
Why are they so bad? You know what I'm saying? Like why do they look so terrifying? Why did he make an entrance like that? And they're immediately brought up to the forefront as now someone we need to be questioning.
Mm-hmm.
In the same way that we needed to be questioning Logain at the beginning, and that's what that whole character moment is for. And so that's a one main point.
Yeah.
The other points are talking about how Rand then talks about the war in the south, and so we connected again. Moiraine connected to Logain, and so that builds the story as we go further. And then we bring up Nynaeve as she stands there with her hand on the knife as like this protective figure, or a dagger. And so it builds a lot of the characters immediately, and then you are finally put into their shoes or their boots as we meet this mysterious character. So
yeah, I love that we meet her there, just again because you kind of question her motivations like Rand does in episode 2. And if you don't have those initial pieces that kind of connect her to like this honorable journey and mission, from the White Tower, and she's on the search, then Rand's comments later on at the end of episode 1 and in episode 2, you feel those more. You are like, why is she someone I can trust? Again, that's part of the purpose of our cut will always be to leave motivations to the interpretation of the viewer, more so than we experienced in the show. And sometimes that will maybe track closely to the books, sometimes it won't. I guess our cut wasn't meant to be book tracking. It was meant to create a tone and a suspense to a lot of things that we felt like are a bit more kind of spoon-fed to the audience. And yeah, maybe that wouldn't have worked. Maybe they tried these things and all their testing that they did, and this one didn't resonate as well with people that didn't know the books. We just know that it resonates from a storytelling perspective in ways that we really enjoy being kind of surprised and unaware.
I think it speaks a lot to what it eventually does. It's the whole point is that no one, I'm sorry, none of us really agreed with Rand when he started screaming at Moiraine when we watched this show for the first time, because we saw her at the beginning getting dressed. We saw her not kill the person, whatever, when Leandrin did it. And now we know her motives.
Yeah. I agree with you there. I guess the one piece, Matt, that I would, to be devil's advocate a little bit here, you were saying they did lean a lot into show not tell in the show. So there's times where they did that, and I would say they overdid it sometimes with not explaining certain things.
Sure.
So, but I can also argue, I agree with you in the sense that I think they did it in the wrong places.
Well, I guess, it's the show motivation side, because I think they did. I think they did leave a lot of the telling out of it, which I like. I just mean specific to the motives of the people that we are supposed to be curious about. You already immediately think Logain is not a good person because the first time you meet him is captured by these Aes Sedai, that you're already taught to kind of that. Yeah, you trust Moiraine, and yes, you have to kind of believe Moraine's well, you got to be careful around other Aes Sedai, and it's the Red Aes Sedai. They're, it's too early to introduce the Red Aes Sedai and not introduce Alvaro. In our opinion, we actually believe that Leandrin being the cold open to episode 4 is actually swapping those cold opens. We think would be amazing. Leandrin being introduced at the beginning of episode 4, going around and gentling. That just feels really natural. So, but yes, I agree. There is a lot of show don't tell. I'm I don't.
But we're
I don't
not
produce.
telling in
I
this.
don't, I don't produce. I don't produce shows for. It's like that's not my. So I don't write scripts. Like that's not. It's more like as we went through, we had kind of some specific goals, and it was to leave more to the imagination of motivation for people.
Yeah.
And so this was a way to do that. And so some of our cuts you'll see are very much about that particular kind of goal.
I am looking forward to more. Here's what I am going to play one other quick word from our sponsor, and then we'll come back and have some final thoughts. So here we go.
Every single year, more than 20,000 in the Westlands contract breakbone fever, and more than 17,000 of them die, while the rest are left to suffer. Village wisdoms try their best, but families and friends are forced to watch as their loved ones' bones break, as they writhe in pain, and as they eventually die a painful death. The Academy in Kyrian is trying to find a cure, and we need your help. We are asking for your financial support as we attempt to find a cure to this horrible disease. And it really is too bad we have to ask you for money to help when those lazy-ass bitch Aes Sedai could heal people for free, and this shouldn't even be a thing, but here we are. If there was only an Aja solely dedicated to healing and eradicating disease... Oh wait, there is. Look, we're not at all bitter that the fucking Aes Sedai can't be bothered to help cure horrific diseases. We'll just keep trying to raise little amounts of money and researching for a cure while thousands die horrible deaths, servants of all my ass. So until the Yellow Aja decides they want to stop being worthless sacks of shit, we'll be here, raising money at the Kyrian Academy, researching a disease we'll probably never cure. The Shadow is honestly starting to look like a good idea if this is the best the fucking Aes Sedai have to offer. Anyways, send us your money. Cure breakbone fever. Thank you.
Breakbone fever truly is a sad, horrible illness, and we do need your help.
Yes, we do.
And the Aes Sedai are worthless. Okay, so first of all, real quick plug. That is, those are clips from my podcast, Tarvalon After Dark. That next episode will come out tomorrow morning. So check that out. It's with Jess, the Amerlin Seat, and Recapa Sedai. We have a lot of fun. It's a comedy, but then also like serious discussion. This week we got into talking about things that we wanted more of in the books. So like, what are the scenes that you would have like, or the parts of the books that you were like, gosh, I wish they had written more on that or had expanded on it and all that. So we had a great discussion like about that. So, okay. Some final thoughts on the Dusty Will cut. You guys have more to come, correct? Are we cutting more and more into this, or?
Yeah, so there's those two, and there's I think two more actually. If this makes sense, we're not going to the entire attack sequence. We've modified somewhat, but not significantly. We're not going to like show all those. We wanted to show kind of the significant kind of plot related changes that we made. So we have like two more cuts for episode 1, and that's episode 1's where we've done most of our work. I don't think we've done too much in episode 2 yet, Taylor, right?
I've done kind of a solid third, I think.
Have you? Oh, okay. So I haven't.
It's pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. No, I think a big part is, first of all, we're not cutting out like the whole point is to utilize the scenes if they're there, right? Like it's not just to like cut it out and throw it away. And like you said before, the Leandrin cold open, though it totally did not fit at all in episode 1, like not at all. It really does fit extremely well in episode 4, because of episode 4. But I think overall, we can't post, right? This isn't our stuff. Like we don't own the Wheel of Time. And so what it mainly is just kind of reworking kind of some plot things and energy and vibes, I guess, to the overall scenes that really impact the viewing of the episodes, and showing those moments, and then talking about them. So
yeah, we think we like. I can't remember exactly what we did cut right at the end, but actually the next cut is one of my favorites. The right after this that we didn't show you, but yeah, we'll get these out and then we'll move on to episode 2. I don't think someone asked for like a master cut, like all the way down. Streamlining this down to like 2 to 3 hours is impossible. I don't think it's. I mean, it's like you're just really at that point, just like you're just cutting entire things to get like a quick route to the Eye of the World. I don't know. Like I could cut out like a ton of chapters from the Eye of the World and get there quicker, but I think like we thought at first maybe we'd try that, but going through episode 1, we're like, we only got down to 45 minutes. I think from like 54. So I think there's only like 9 minutes of total cuts.
Which is a lot.
No, it is, but it's not going to make up.
But no.
Like, it's still going to be like
80
minutes
be like, total off the whole thing. If
it's going to be like 6 to 7 hours of the show. So
the thing is, like, you have a lot of things where I think episode 1, it felt kind of choppy up until the middle. But I think like from the middle on, like we did some like tweaks, but for the most part, it's pretty much the same episode. Like, and so, but then going on to episode 2 really is put together very well in its pacing, in its dialogue, in its all the conversations between all the characters and where they're going story wise. Like it isn't like episode 1, and so it's a lot of these are going to fluctuate in how much we're cutting.
Well, and I would add into that too that I think for most of us, I felt my personal opinions. I felt episode 1 and episode 8 were the most choppy pacing wise. Like they were the and you could tell they actually edited more in those episodes than any of the other ones. Like that, the scene inside the inn is so chopped up. I think Unraveling the Pattern, and I noticed this too. Like people are in the wrong place. They're teleporting across the room. Like they clearly filmed a lot more and cut it. So it's very obvious to me, and I think it was obvious to us when we were watching it. That being said, episode 2 and 3, I felt like were some of the better paced episodes. So like I feel like they did cut those better. And I wouldn't say perfectly, but better. So
yeah, it's going to be interesting as we go through it. But yeah, this one was a lot of fun because again, the framing episode 1 to move into episode 2 was really an interesting kind of challenge for us in ways that we thought could be interesting to take a different tact on who is the Dragon Reborn by beginning it with Logain. I think it makes that question so much more compelling. Where Moraine is sure that it's someone else and not that person, but we've just seen that person channel, and we, the audience is like, I don't know, that person seems like that's probably the person. Well,
then it just creates so much more right? Because the problem with, and I'll be very fast. The problem with the end of episode 4 is just the fact that, or throughout episode 4, when Logain's in the shield. Or I don't know what they call it. He is just sitting there because we've only just met him. And so even us, we're kind of like, like he's shielded and we're kind of waiting for something.
Yeah.
But once that end of episode 3 comes in and they turn the corner, isn't it episode 3 that we see for the first time?
Yeah.
And in the cart, they're like, we caught him. And then we see him now, like you immediately go, oh no, like that is him, and like this could be bad, kind of a thing. And
yeah.
Well, guys, first of all, I love the cuts, Taylor. Great job. Great job raising him, Innkeeper. You taught him everything you know.
You're welcome.
But looking forward now. What's coming up on the Dusty Wheel on Wednesday?
So we have a double header. I forgot to get the video out. Things have been busy around the Hatch home. But at 1 p.m. No wait, 2 p.m. Eastern. There we go. Sorry. 2 p.m. Eastern, we'll be interviewing actually Max Ryan, who plays the first original Luz Theron. So Max Ryan will be on for a short, just imagine it'll probably be around 30 to 40 minutes, lunchtime kind of interview. And so, yeah, Max Ryan, the original Luz Theron, will be talking about kind of that role, fan response to it. If you've seen The Wheel of Time, his current kind of what's going on in his life, just having a fun conversation. We just want to talk to him. And then that night, we're going to be back at our normal time, actually back into Wheel of Time book theories. And who is the Lord of Chaos is a theory we're going to try to tackle, which is a fun. It's
It's been a while. We haven't done that in a long time.
I know we haven't done a theory episode, so we're back with an interview and a theory on Wednesday.
That's awesome. Can you please make sure to have Max Ryan yell Ilyena?
I don't know that I can do that. I don't know. I don't know my comfort level with that.
Or have him do it 25 times in a row.
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
That's awesome. I can't wait. So thank you guys for coming on. Hopefully we'll see more and more Dusty Wheel cuts. I cannot wait to see you guys again at JordanCon. It's going to be a lot of fun.
It's been a blast.
Hopefully, I will say this: come up and say hi, everybody. I can't hide, so I stand out like a sore thumb. Please come up and say hi to me. I know Innkeeper says the same thing usually, right? Like, come say hi.
Yeah, come say hi. I know it's gonna seem like, even if I'm like talking, like be off in the periphery so I can see you and know that you want to say something, and I'll be happy to pause whatever I'm saying.
Autograph started 25. No, I'm just kidding.
Wow. No, that's the antithesis of what we're saying.
That is what. Now Taylor, on the other hand, will charge. So he's got handlers. Taylor's wife will be there, and she's going to be selling tickets.
That's right. Yeah,
come over and get
all the finance aspect.
Get his autograph. So
exactly. No, please do come say
We'll
hi.
have giveaway stuff, right? Aren't we bringing things?
See,
Am
Badger
I bringing
Reborn.
stuff? I'll try to bring stuff. Yeah.
Badger Reborn says I look like a sore thumb too. So that's accurate. That is accurate.
Yeah, it's gonna be a blast. See you in about 2.5 weeks.
Yeah, it'd be fun. So guys, thank you for joining. I released a video today. Go watch it if you want some more news on the Wheel of Time. Tune into the Dusty Wheel on Wednesday. You should get another lore video from me this week. And we'll be back next Monday with the Darkfriend Social. I think since the Innkeeper is here, do you just want to you want to do your thing?
Would you like me to? Is that what you like?
Sure. Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. Let me see. I have to kind of get in the mood for this. Hey, thank you, Nae'Blis, for having us on the show. It's been a blast. And Taylor, as always, I really appreciate that you make time after, getting married and having other things to be doing to show up here on some random YouTube channel. And with that, as we like to say around here, good night at the Dusty Wheel and smash to black.